Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, what will be the most helpful for us to know right now for the collective? And how we can move forward and be our best selves. Realize these dreams that many of us have had on hold for a while now. Okay, first we have the Prince of Pentacles. Alright, so I'm seeing, first of all, I'm using the Starman Tarot. This is based on the works of David Bowie. It's an awesome tarot deck. Like, it's one of my favorites. I was a little intimidated at first to use it, and it has really different imagery on it, but once you start using the Rider-Waite deck, well, for myself anyway, once I use the Rider-Waite deck for long enough, you just want something else, visually mix it up a little bit. So I'm using the Starman Tarot, and right away I have the Seven of Wands, the Prince of Pentacles with the Justice card crossing. So there's something that's going to be coming out that's balancing the scales, so to speak. If things were at a standstill, if it's been kind of a hard road here, eventually you'll have to weigh your heart with your mind and think about what it is that's really important to you versus what seems like the right thing to do because of societal pressure, or an old story, an old version of yourself that you're still trying to make materialize in the 3D realm. But so many of us have outgrown our lives and just kind of quantum leapt in the last few months even. Things are accelerating so quickly with technology, just everything. If you're paying attention, you'll feel that things are so different, and it can start to feel overwhelming. If you maybe you've been fatigued, maybe you've been just trying to keep up with everything, and it seems like things aren't fair in those cases. Um, why do the good things happen to people who seem to not deserve it, or why are things so easy for certain people? Or why do people get away with using other people when you're trying to live a good life and you're trying to do the right thing and you're trying to do things the right way and you're trying to work towards something, and it just feels like the rug keeps getting pulled out from under you? If you've been feeling like that, there is an energetic block. I have the Empress reversed here, a block towards your abundance. So I would just sit with that and think about, how do you block your own abundance? And I know that these questions and even that, kind of cliche thing, oh, I have money blocks, I have energy blocks. You just need to identify your money blocks. I've been told that, I know. And it's like rewiring your brain from scarcity to abundance does not happen overnight. But there are a lot of things that you can do, and there's real world action that you can take. And there's some self awareness that can come into play when you really want to change your patterns and you really want to change your behaviors and you really are fed up with even your own uh, ways, the ways that you want to leave behind and the ways that you want to outgrow. Sometimes we're forced to outgrow these patterns. But if you're not seeing the growth on the outside, just know that there are things happening. As long as you're still focused and you're still putting towards that effort, it has to start as a seed and a baby has to start as a seed or as an embryo. So even though we're not visually seeing that growth, we know it's happening. We know it's going to pay off. The scales are going to balance eventually. But it's about having belief in the outcome and living in that, live in the end, Um, because in the outcome we have the Princess of Pentacles. So, in this card, she's pregnant also. And in this card, you see the embryos. So it goes from embryo, you can see her belly here. And she's also has clown makeup on. So to me, this is just a reminder not to take yourself too seriously when you are growing a new project or a business or a brand or anything like that, because play, it really is the answer sometimes. Keep going towards the things that feel like play, that feel like, it's easy. Let it be easy. Let it be something you enjoy doing. Put your energy into that and figure out how to monetize it. There's so many ways that we can, exchange energy with people, that you want to make sure it's not one-sided, because if you're not advocating for yourself, it's not really anyone else's responsibility to advocate for you. Oh, I've been leaning on the table. I got sequence marks on my arms. But anyway, just make sure you're advocating for yourself, doing fair pricing for yourself, or if you need to negotiate a higher wage at work, if you need to negotiate your hours, if something feels like someone is exploiting you, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to take it. Have a backup plan, but at the same time, know how valuable you are in a space. If you truly are putting in the work, if you have skills that are marketable, if you, let's see, there's so much interesting imagery on this card. It does show a lot of growth though, and from like, it's been a hard road. So from Seven of Wands, we go to in this deck, the Princess of Pentacles, or Queen. She knows what she knows. This little smirk, kind of, it's like a knowing smile. That comes from wisdom. That comes from time. That comes from experience. So, for example, a tarot reader that is very young can be just as knowledgeable about the imagery, about the um, meanings of certain cards, and even have a great skill with being able to articulate that. However, someone with life experience, that's seen the way things play out, that knows human behavior and patterns, that's seen the world change, is going to be able to give you a lot more insight just into situations in general. So just keep that in mind. And how that can apply to a lot of other things. And then lastly, we have the Seven of Cups. So the future is still pretty open. There's so many possibilities. There's so many options, and that can be kind of scary, and it can be kind of exciting at the same time. But when you have the Seven of Cups, it is kind of important to narrow down your options and figure out what it is you really want. There's a video on the channel, The Rosy Life. She's a manifestation coach and teacher of the Law of Assumption and Neville Goddard's teachings. And she has a video on how to choose what you want. And I thought that was really interesting, because it was something I had struggled with recently. Like, yes, like, goal setting is, everyone knows you have to set goals, how to achieve them, break it up into smaller steps. you want to manifest something, there's so many different techniques, there's so many different methods to manifest, but how do you arrive at the decision and what it is that you want to manifest? Because there's consequences to each one of those manifestations. And the root of that what is the feeling. How do you want to feel when you get these things? Is it going to be fulfilling? Are you going to be grateful for each step of the way? Are you starting from a place of gratitude? I think, you know, it's about getting really clear on your own energy also, because we are so pulled by energy, by people's opinions, by their agendas. So if you're really spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself, getting to know your own needs and desires and wants and thoughts in general, it's going to be a lot easier to decide where you want to go from there. So maybe just take some time out, meditate, spend time in nature. You know, we all know the things we need to do for quieting the mind, centering, and then being able to radiate that energy out to be magnetic to our desires or to affect change in the world. So I hope that helped. I'm going to be doing some other readings tonight, see who they resonate with, and then I plan to start doing extended readings also. But for now, I just like to, um, spend time doing readings, getting used to this format. I'd like to do some out the door quick tarot readings, some energy check ins with astrology, um, more of these long form, late night tarot readings, and then who knows where we'll go from there. Maybe I'll start breaking things up by sign or life path number, things like that. You can get, there's so many ideas that I have, but I think, and maybe I'm just sharing this because maybe it's a message for you also, but not getting bogged down in the details of, having a perfect plan before I start is something that I've struggled with. So I just want to get started, and from there I'll continue to grow, and hopefully you'll grow with me and grow this channel. So please like, subscribe, give me feedback. I know I have, public speaking is something I've always wanted to get better at. I can talk a lot with my friends or people I'm close with. I tend to be, well, I am a little on the, anyways, I'm neurodivergent, so, that affects my communication, and it affects um, my perception. So keep that in mind, be nice. And I'm really happy to be in this space and just be hopefully growing something here that I can be proud of, that is helpful to you. And I would love to continue shouting out, other creators that I think have been really helpful and inspiring to me as well. So I will post my donation links. I will post any other things, offerings that I have in the description box. And I would love to hear from you. Have a great night.